What if a single decision in the dead of night could turn an ordinary summer drive into a life-defining tragedy? In the early hours of the 31st of July 2022, a speeding car tore through the quiet streets of Strongsville, Ohio, before slamming into a building at nearly 100 miles per hour. Inside the vehicle were three teenagers. 17-year-old Mackenzie Shirilla was behind the wheel. Her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and his cousin, Davion Flanagan, sat beside her. The impact was catastrophic. Dominic and Davion were killed instantly. Mackenzie survived with severe injuries. What first appeared to be a horrific accident soon took a darker turn. Investigators claimed the car never slowed. The data showed acceleration instead of braking in the final seconds. Video evidence raised chilling questions. Within days, the crash was no longer seen as a mistake, but as an intentional act. One moment on the road had become the center of a murder case, leaving behind two lost lives and a mystery that still divides everyone who hears it. Let's dive into the story. Mackenzie had a way of making ordinary moments feel unforgettable. She laughed easily, smiled often, and never let anyone feel left out. Friends gravitated toward her without effort. She loved music, documented her life through endless photos, and lived for nights spent driving around with friends, summer bonfires, and last-minute plans that turned into memories. Her inner circle was tight, built on trust, secrets, and shared dreams of what the future might hold. She talked about everything with them. She also had a boyfriend she deeply cared for, a young love filled with promises, hope, and the kind of certainty only youth allows. To Natalie and John, none of that mattered. No matter how grown she seemed, Mackenzie was still their little girl, the one they believed they were protecting, the one they thought was safe. Her parents were deeply involved in their daughters' lives. Natalie was the kind of mother who never missed a school event, always checking on her daughter's well-being, guiding them with a firm but gentle hand. John was quieter, the grounding force of the family, a man of few words but steady presence. Together, they created a household where love wasn't just spoken. Mackenzie's teenage years were marked by a rhythm familiar to many families. School, friends, weekend hangouts, late-night texts, and plans for the future. She was young, full of life, and surrounded by people who loved her. No one could have imagined how abruptly everything would change. On the evening of the 30th of July, 2022, Mackenzie and her friends spent their night the way many teens do during the summer, laughing, talking, and trying to hold on to the last stretch of freedom before adulthood came knocking. There were photos taken, inside jokes shared, and the kind of careless joy that defines youth. It was supposed to be just another night out, but the early hours of July 31 would bring a darkness no one saw coming. The crash that occurred in the quiet stillness of that night would leave an unhealable wound. It would claim lives, shatter friendships, and turn a once ordinary family into the center of one of Ohio's most haunting tragedies. For Natalie and John, it was more than a headline. It was the moment their world collapsed. Mackenzie, just 17, was driving with her boyfriend Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan when her car slammed into a building at nearly 100 miles per hour. Dominic and Davion were killed, while Mackenzie survived with serious injuries. At first, the Shirillas believed, like so many others, that this was a terrible accident, the kind of tragedy that sometimes happens when young people get behind the wheel. But investigators soon suggested otherwise. They claimed that Mackenzie had deliberately crashed the vehicle, pointing to video evidence and data from the car that showed acceleration rather than braking in the moments before impact. Suddenly, their daughter was no longer just a survivor. She was being accused of murder.
Can I have your key, please?
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?
You got it. You got it.
Do you want my glasses?
No.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, just keep your hands right here.
After the crash, investigators first questioned Mackenzie's parents, Natalie and John, pressing them about her health, behavior, and state of mind leading up to the incident. They wanted to know if anything had seemed out of the ordinary.
Full transparency here. There's drugs in the car. She had a bag of mushrooms on her and a scale. Full transparency, guys. I'm sorry, I'm ripping the Band-Aids. Okay. Drugs in the car.
So she was awake but not awake, so she was
In and out of consciousness. She had fully extracted from the vehicle. IFD. I know she has a severe leg injury.
Once finished, police turned to her close friends. They asked about Mackenzie's recent moods, her relationship with Dominic, and whether she had shown signs of conflict, stress, or health issues that could shed light on why that night ended in tragedy.
In the front seat tried to turn the wheel because of the fact they were going to go straight into a wall. And it doesn't say she heart broke once. It was 90 miles per hour down that whole road. And I also think because of Kenzie's and Dominic's history that they were fighting, I think Davion went on his phone to distract himself from the fighting. Although they were on drugs, they can also still be fighting with being on drugs.
It could have just been like a careless mistake. Like I don't think Kenzie, even if she was like at road rage, if she was arguing, I don't think her intention was to kill two people.
The courtroom became the stage for the battle that would follow. Prosecutors painted Mackenzie as reckless, manipulative, and dangerous, calling her hell on wheels. They claimed she had intentionally ended the lives of Dominic and Davion, fueled by emotional turmoil. The trial captivated not just the local community, but audiences across the country, who saw in it a story of teenage recklessness turned deadly. But for Natalie and John, the trial was not a spectacle. It was their worst nightmare unfolding in real time.
In any way that she can. She's like devastated and tragic. He was the air that she breathes, okay? And they went with his cousin. We spent all kinds of time with him after the accident. What was the other thing?
I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing very much about the two dead people.
Dominic, okay? I'm asking you for leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend. And I'm so sorry.
What does that mean? His life is worthless?
No.
When Mackenzie Shirilla was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years, Natalie and John sat frozen in the courtroom, struggling to breathe under the crushing weight of the judge's words. The sharp echo of the gavel felt like the final crack in the life they once knew, sealing their daughter's fate. The courtroom around them blurred as reality set in. For them, this wasn't just a sentence handed to Mackenzie. It was a sentence handed to their family. Tears streamed down Natalie's face, her hands clenched tightly together as if holding on to the last thread of hope. But even in the face of devastating finality, Natalie and John refused to give up. They stood firm, insisting that the crash was never an act of malice, but a tragic accident caused by a medical emergency, possibly a seizure. While others saw only guilt, they saw the little girl they'd raised, the one they believed in with every piece of their hearts. In their eyes, Mackenzie's story wasn't over, and neither was their fight for her.
Now, Shirilla's parents are speaking out, insisting that the justice system got it wrong.
Show me one piece of evidence, one, that says she did this on purpose. Show it to me. Here it is. That's it. Then she's right where she belongs, and she's guilty of it. But they're
poor families think she did it intentionally, and she didn't. And and they don't know. There's information they didn't see. There's information they didn't have. There's information we didn't see or have.
Should she be in prison for murder?
No, absolutely not.
Should she be in prison for aggravated vehicular homicide?
I don't even know about that aggravated part.
I don't know about the aggravated part, because I don't think you can still say why was going on the car. Should she have been charged with reckless vehicular homicide, 2 counts? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not if it was medical.
At the same time, Natalie and John know their pain does not stand alone. 2 other families, those of Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan, live with a loss that can never be reversed. Their grief is permanent, and it deserves recognition, even as the Shirilla family struggles with its own complicated suffering. The story is not over. Appeals are being prepared, evidence questioned, and opinions remain deeply divided. Some believe the verdict was inevitable. Others believe crucial truths remain hidden. Courts may deliver rulings, but they cannot silence doubt or answer every moral question. For Natalie and John, one fact never changes. Mackenzie is their daughter. Verdicts do not erase that bond. Their love is not conditional, and it does not disappear under public judgment. This case forces difficult reflection. Can justice coexist with compassion? Can families stand by their child while honoring other victims? There are no easy answers, only pain, loyalty, and unresolved questions. What do you think about justice in this case today?